He thinks he's winning, but he's actually playing a game you designed. Welcome to the shadows. The siren in the shadows, unmasking the dark feminine. In the golden era of self-improvement and soft life aesthetics, a darker, more magnetic subculture has emerged from the depths of the digital zeitgeist. It's called dark feminine energy. While the mainstream often paints femininity as a pastel-colored landscape of nurturing and submission, the dark feminine is the storm that follows the calm. It is the archetype of the seductress, the strategist, and the sovereign. But there is a razor-thin line between empowerment and influence. In the viral discourse surrounding the video, Dark Feminine Energy, 7 manipulation tactics that look like love, we are forced to confront a chilling reality. Sometimes the things that feel the most like soulmate connections are actually masterfully crafted psychological traps. For an American audience raised on the cinematic happily ever after, these tactics aren't just revelatory, they are a survival guide for the modern dating wilderness. 1. The mirror of desires, reflective enchantment. The first tactic is perhaps the most lethal because it feels like destiny. When you meet someone who seems to share every niche hobby, every childhood trauma, and every obscure dream, you don't think manipulation, you think the one. In the realm of dark feminine energy, this is known as mirroring. It isn't about shared interests, it's about becoming a chameleon. By reflecting your ego back to you, the practitioner makes you fall in love with a version of yourself. It's a psychological hall of mirrors where you aren't seeing her, you're seeing your own reflection, polished to perfection. 2. The vulnerability bait. We are taught that vulnerability is the cornerstone of intimacy. However, the dark feminine uses vulnerability as a tactical weapon. By sharing a calculated secret or a curated trauma early on, she triggers the hero instinct in men or the nurturer instinct in partners. This creates an immediate, unearned bond. You feel protective, you feel chosen. But in reality, this isn't an opening of the heart, it's the setting of a hook. It creates a debt of intimacy that you will spend the rest of the relationship trying to repay. 3. Intermittent reinforcement, the casino effect. Why do people stay in toxic cycles? It's rarely because of the pain, it's because of the occasional intoxicating bursts of pleasure. This tactic mimics the mechanics of a slot machine. By oscillating between extreme warmth and cold withdrawal, the dark feminine creates a biological addiction in her subject. When she finally grants you her attention after a period of silence, your brain releases a flood of dopamine that is more powerful than a steady stream of affection could ever be. You aren't in love, you're chasing a hit. 4. The damaged goddess archetype. There's a specific allure to the woman who seems slightly out of reach or perpetually misunderstood. By positioning herself as a goddess who has been wronged by the world, she invites you to be the one exception. This tactic leverages the American obsession with the underdog and the savior. It frames her manipulative outbursts as passion and her coldness as protection. You aren't being mistreated, you're simply earning her trust. It's a brilliant rebrand of toxic behavior into a high-stakes challenge. The mechanics of control. The American dating market is currently defined by situationships and ghosting. In this low-effort environment, someone who utilizes dark feminine tactics stands out because they are intentional. Selective silence, the power of the void. In a world that won't stop talking, silence is a superpower. The video explores how silence is used not as a lack of communication, but as a form of pressure. By withdrawing at the peak of an argument or after a moment of high intimacy, she forces the partner to fill the void with their own anxieties. Suddenly, you find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do simply to break the tension. The one who speaks less holds the most power in the room. The pedestal shift. This is a sophisticated form of gaslighting. First, she places you on a pedestal, making you feel like the most incredible person on earth. Then, subtly and without warning, she begins to nudge the pedestal. A small critique here, a comparison to an old flame there. You spend all your energy trying to get back to the high of the first week. You become a performer in your own relationship, desperate for the standing ovation that she now withholds. The illusion of choice. The final tactic is the most Machiavellian. It's the art of making the partner think they are the leader while she steers the ship. By planting seeds of ideas and letting the partner discover them, she ensures there is never any resistance. If you think it was your idea to move to her city or quit your job, you won't resent her for it. It is the ultimate invisible leash. Why this matters now? The fascination with dark feminine energy isn't just about tricking people. It represents a cultural shift. After decades of being told to be nice and agreeable, many are turning to these darker archetypes to reclaim a sense of agency. However, as the video Dark Feminine Energy: 7 Manipulation Tactics That Look Like Love suggests, there is a heavy price to pay for power gained through deception. When you use manipulation to secure love, you can never truly be sure if the person loves you or the mask you've crafted. You become a prisoner of your own tactics, forced to maintain the illusion forever. For the viewer, this is an invitation to look closer at their own relationships. Is your partner your soulmate, or are they a master of the mirror? Is that spark you feel actual chemistry, or is it just the adrenaline of intermittent reinforcement? The dark feminine is a mirror held up to our own insecurities. We only fall for these tactics when we are starving for validation. By understanding these 7 maneuvers, you don't just learn how to spot a manipulator, you learn where your own armor is thin. In the end, true power doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from being uncontrollable. And the only way to be uncontrollable is to be aware. If you want to master the psychology of attraction and protect your heart from the shadows, don't leave your education to chance. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of truth seekers. Stay sharp.